Hello and welcome to the Business Hour podcast here at Magic Door Studio. My name is Shane and today we're joined with Danny from Castle Arch Hotel. Good morning, Danny.
Shane, how are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Very welcome. Firstly, I'd like to ask you to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role. I believe you're general manager at Castle Arch Hotel.
Yeah, that's right. General manager of the Castle Arch and Trim. A small hotel, 21 bedrooms. Very busy spot for food, weddings, all kind of catering functions, and yeah, oversee operations for everything, I suppose, and up to about 80 staff or so. So it's busy operation.
You're busy.
Yeah. But I love it.
You're a young enough man. How did you get into hospitality and how did you find your way to Castle Arch Hotel?
So I suppose started off in a hotel just as a waiter, hotel and trim as well. It was only literally just as a part-time job during college. Had no interest in hospitality. It was literally just pocket money for when, for going out on the weekends in college and stuff like that. Ended up dropping out of college and then started working full-time in the hotel. And from there, just loved it. So worked about a year in the hotel full-time and then went over to America with an organization called Workaway. I don't know if it's still called Workaway or not now, but pretty much they bring you over to Florida, work in these 5-star country houses, pay for your flights, pay for your visa, flights, and yeah, it was brilliant.
So you were in Trump International in Florida? Right?
Yeah, it was only actually down the road. His Mar-a-Lago, I think is what it's called.
Mar-a-Lago, that's right.
Yeah, that was only just down the road as well. Yeah, so
phenomenal experience. How old are you then?
I was just turned 21.
Okay.
Yeah, just turned 21, so went over there. It was brilliant. I was out of my depth initially at the start,
Good.
so initially you had to do 3 months training before you're even allowed to step foot on the dining floor. You weren't allowed to talk to members until you got the full training. It was so intense, but it was brilliant. Learned loads from it.
Yeah, deep end's the best way in business, just got to get in there sometimes. Absolutely, and figure it out.
Yeah.
Sink or swim.
100%, yeah. So I suppose from there went on, only spent a year over there, done 8 months in Florida, then done a summer in Nantucket in Massachusetts.
All right.
Yeah, and I was, again, very exclusive venue, it was brilliant.
Is that fine dining?
Fine dining, yeah. Another kind of 5-star country club. But
phenomenal.
It was great. Huge training on it.
So would you say you obviously were able to bring some of your learnings and back and, apply it here and kind of,
Oh, absolutely. I suppose that was the standard that I was shown and trained on. So implementing it back into the hotels and trim was a must, absolutely.
Sure. If you were to describe your hotel in 3 words, how would you, what 3 would you pick? You mentioned a couple in your intro there, but I'll just ask again. 3 words.
3 words. Cozy, welcoming, and friendly.
All right, what kind of hotel?
Definitely, yeah. I suppose it's a small hotel. We're not we're not like the larger kind of corporate hotels. So I suppose our main emphasis is customer service. Customer service, and that's kind of what we drive the most. So it's
so your hotel experience is people facing, friendly, as you say, welcoming, that they feel like they're kind of at home. They're not in a bland Ibis type experience. That they feel the full force of Irish Céad Míle Fáilte.
Absolutely. You nailed it on the head there, and that's what we kind of drive with our management team.
Who are your typical guests? Are they tourists come to Ireland, or do you get many people from Ireland? You mentioned obviously about weddings and that. I'm assuming that's a good portion of your guests are coming for weddings and stuff and staying.
Yeah. So it's kind of all genres in a sense. All so we could have young couples, elderly couples, stags, hens, wedding parties. Right. Tourists are massive this time of the year. Trim is obviously a heritage town. There's a huge footfall of tourists.
Yeah.
So at this time of the year it would be 70% tourists. But all types of people. We're all welcome.
A little bit off topic, but for stags and hens in Trim, obviously a lot of hotels can be off-put by stags and hens and that. Do you have is it just anybody can book and stay, or do you have any kind of vetting policy, or if it seems a bit mad, if there's 20 lads, is that a bit iffy?
No, not at all. I suppose they pretty much just come come and go. They come in, they check out, they head off in the town. We see them at 3 o'clock in the morning, then we see them at 12 o'clock checking out, and that's it. So we
Mm.
don't
Okay,
spend yeah. They never stay in the hotel drinking in that sense. They come in, they get their food, and they go. It's
yeah.
great.
Look, that's exactly it. I mean, look, most stags are very well behaved, and as you say, the hotel is just kind of base of operations for them to head down to town.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if there's any, if there's any, are there any particular features about the hotel that people, that people, that guests will come take advantage of, and then will maybe come back for, like I don't know if you have saunas or that kind of things become more popular, massage rooms and and so on.
Yeah, I suppose.
A nice late bar, good
y-
bar, cocktail bar.
I suppose we wouldn't have the kind of any of the health services or or any of the kind of fitness areas, in a sense as well. But there's kind of a huge bit of history to the hotel, which I love telling
Okay.
the story of. So
Yeah.
the actual grounds and the wall area in the hotel is part of the old army barracks. So
Right.
the English army barracks. So in 1915, there was actually the army barracks was bombed by the IRA, and it's a great piece of history. And the old wall still has kind of the bullet holes in it, and it has the alcoves where the English army used to shoot out of as well. And it's a great story to tell, especially to
Yeah.
tourists.
Yeah.
And they
That's
love
phenomenal.
that. So that part of history is massive to the
Do you
hotel.
have you mentioned do you have gardens or kind of walled you mentioned
Yes.
the walled areas, walled gardens?
Yeah, so there's kind of an outdoor terrace area as well, which we have for outdoor dining. And this time of the year, well,
Oh, nice.
weather dependent, obviously as well.
Mm.
It's very busy, but then there's a kind of memorial garden just to the left hand side,
Mm.
and it's a great kind of picturesque area.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It sounds like a beautiful spot. You won't mind if I come and visit this weekend,
No,
I'm
not at all. Absolutely.
So, I guess hotel management, the hotel business is a very competitive industry. And as you mentioned, there's for yourselves, it's there's cozy is one way to go. There's kind of like big, bland, low cost is the other end of the spectrum. How would you say you guys, you as general manager, how do you you know get your uh, bring along your staff to give your guests an experience that goes above and beyond. How do you manage your team and keep them focused on that? Keep them focused on friendliness, welcome, and is it just the people you pick from the outset, or do you have to train them in a particular way, or is it just a cultural kind of thing at the hotel, or like how do you?
Yeah, it's kind of all of what you mentioned. I suppose culture is a massive thing for our hotel.
Mm,
I always tell my staff to treat the guests as if you want to be treated. So if you're going out with your partner, or you're going out with your family,
mm,
serve them the way you want to be served.
mm,
Um, training is a huge thing for us as well.
mm,
The turnover in our hotel is minimum.
mm,
I think since I've been there for the last 3 years, there's maybe 5 people who left.
mm.
So
Okay, well,
yeah, it's unheard of.
okay,
And
that's yeah.
and it's kind of the culture that was set within the hotel group as well.
Mm,
It's a family run hotel. It's owned by the Cusack Hotel,
right.
or the Cusack family, should I say?
I think
Um,
that's very telling. When your staff turnover is low, people enjoy working there. People enjoy working there. You get the best out of them. To be blunt, and I think customers and guests feel that.
yeah, no,
You
absolutely.
know.
And our repeat guests and repeat business is kind of it's telling, telling
Yeah, for sure.
on
What's the best compliment you've ever received? Do you remember? I know. We're always very quick to remember the negative,
oh,
comments on
absolutely.
social media, and that's unfortunate. But is there a standout comment that really, filled you with pride, and that you can look to, staff can look to,
Um,
or a particular guest maybe that was like, just blown away by, you know,
Yeah, well, I suppose this was actually recently enough. We had again tourist season. We had American tourists, and it was her dream to come back and see Ireland. And I think she had family in Roscommon, so
mm,
she was using us as kind of a stay over to kind of go and see the old house and kind
yeah,
of the old roads that she was told about. But when she was checking out a hotel, she mentioned to the receptionist, I wasn't there at the time. Now she says that this hotel sums up Irish hospitality and something I've always thought of, and I was just blown away with that.
I'm blown away with that.
Yeah, and it was fantastic to hear because she said most 9 times out of 10 when people talk to me, it's always about bad stuff that goes on.
Yeah,
You know
of
what I
course,
mean?
it's the
And
complaints and stuff. Yeah.
absolutely. So when you hear something like that, it was amazing, amazing.
Do you have a mechanism for, obviously so much of bookings these days is driven by online um, comments and that kind of stuff. Do you kind of pointedly direct people to leave a Google review or that, or do you just leave it to organically if people want to?
Yeah, I'm kind of split on that as well because I think guests nowadays use negative comments as weapons towards businesses,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it can destroy businesses.
Mm,
And I've seen emails in the past where they said, I wasn't happy with my steak. I'd like a refund, or I'm going to
mm,
go to TripAdvisor, and
mm,
that's
mm,
and
mm.
that can destroy
Yeah, yeah.
business, especially smaller business as well. Um, I do if they're happy with if they're happy with their stay and they're happy with everything. I do
Mm.
encourage the reception team to leave TripAdvisor cards for them.
Okay, good.
Um, but again, and I don't know about you, but whenever I'm going away, the first thing I go to is go to TripAdvisor
Mm.
and I look at the reviews.
Yeah, we
So
all do, and it's like hearing negative comments yourself. You can kind of sometimes fixate on negative comments
yeah,
that you might see about a hotel, and you're like, I'm not sure,
yeah,
But then at least for me, and obviously I would assume for you and for most rational people, you have to take that with a pinch of salt. Like, is this a legitimate review, or is this person with a maybe they've got other stuff going on in their life and they're having a bad day and they wanted to kind of lash out, or was it a legitimately bad experience, and try and weigh it up. You got to take everything with a pinch of salt, I guess,
yeah.
these days.
Oh, absolutely. And I am that type of person that if I get 10 good reviews, but I see one bad one,
Mm.
the 10 don't exist to me.
Yeah,
And it's a bad trait to have, but I suppose I can't not take it personal.
yeah, it's hard not to. For me personally, I, you have good and bad experiences wherever you go. For me personally, if I really like a place and I like what they're doing, and I see something that maybe I didn't really think was great, I'll try and talk to maybe the reception staff about
Mm,
it, or someone that comes to the table and say to them, keep it out of the public eye. Where I really didn't enjoy an experience, I'll just walk away and not, you don't engage in um, it's not worth your time to engage in negative content. But a lot of people feel that that's, as I say, people use it as a blackmail tool to get what they want,
yeah,
and then as a kind of like a revenge kind of type thing afterwards, and it can destroy businesses. It
absolutely.
really can. Um, so do you have a marketing team that kind of manages like social media content, and where do most of your bookings come from? Is it through standalone platforms, people contacting directly?
Yeah, so I suppose it's kind of a mixture of a few. So obviously Booking.com is massive for us.
Mm.
The we get a lot of phone calls actually directly to the hotel with for bookings as well. We've recently just linked up with Rory's Travel. Obviously that's taken off nationwide as well. So
Yeah,
that's a massive
yeah,
platform for us.
Rory's
And
brilliant.
every hotel there's a queuing list trying to get onto his.
Is there? Yeah,
Oh, it's unbelievable. We could
good for him.
Oh,
Great.
absolutely, and it was a fantastic idea because we could do a promotion, but we actually have one currently at the minute. So it's overnight dinner, bed and breakfast with a cocktail for 120 € for a couple, which is the biggest deal I've seen. And
Yeah,
yeah, no, and if we had actually no bookings on a date in June, and that was or July, should I say, and that was the date that we wanted to hit. And within 20 minutes, all the rooms are gone.
done. Yeah.
Gone. That's a massive one for us.
Do you have a cocktail barman
We do.
or woman?
Yeah. We've an in-house mixologist as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we need to.
savage.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. Yeah. Well, as you said, for social media as well.
Yeah, exactly. They look good. They look good, and yeah, that's what people go for these days. Jeremy asking, what do you charge for a cocktail on a just somebody walking in, or just a regular guest, not part of a package?
Yeah, so it'd be 10.95.
Very reasonable.
Absolutely, hundred
Mm.
percent. And you see a lot of places kind of charging 15, 16, 17 €
Mm.
as well. Anyone that's in the business,
Mm.
that's a greedy price
It
to
is a
charge.
greedy price, and
Absolutely.
actually, I find for a lot of people benchmark pricing. Cocktails are benchmark price where they can compare and contrast restaurants and places and stuff. And if you're reasonable, they feel like they've gotten better value for money. So all
Absolutely.
kinds of other add-ons and stuff people are happy to pay for, but they can compare very easily. Um, what does your average day look like? You get to work in the morning. What time do you get in it?
It's such a hard
Depend.
question to answer. I suppose it's the type of thing where like today I'm in from 11 to 11.
Okay, right.
Tomorrow I'm
Well,
7 to 3. Saturday is 5 to 3 o'clock in the morning. So a typical day there is no such thing.
mm,
So a day midweek could be just full of meetings. Another day you could be looking after a wedding. You could be clearing tables. You could be conducting training sessions. Be anything. It can be.
do you do many weddings?
Yes, we've 28 this year.
And do you do ceremonies there at the venue?
We have the ceremonies, yeah. We've in-house ceremonies as well.
Inside and outside?
Not outside, just inside. We have a ballroom upstairs as well that
Okay, lovely.
caters for that as well. So it's
What's your capacity for guests,
for
for
a,
wedding guests?
for a wedding guest, we can do up to 180 people.
180.
180 people, yeah.
I mean, I guess the picture I had in my head, 21 rooms,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cozy, intimate. That's a good size.
I know,
That's
I
a
know.
good wedding.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And from the outside looking into the hotel, you don't think there's much in it.
Mm.
The exterior of the building is big, but when you
Mm.
kind of get in, it's a big lobby, it's a huge restaurant, but then they don't see the ballroom. It's
Do you
massive.
have like an in-house wedding coordinator person that liaises with, or would you do that job, or is it a bit of both?
No, 100%. We'd have a wedding events manager.
Okay, so
And
they take care of the bride and groom, and from, I guess, all steps.
start to finish,
Yeah.
absolutely, and along with that, she organizes all the in-house functions, all the inquiries. So she's very busy position.
Maybe a blunt question, but what sort of rates? So you charging for weddings? I'm assuming it's by head. I'm assuming it can vary depending on a variety of different things. But
Absolutely,
just a ballpark idea.
yeah. So we've a couple of packages that we kind of base ourselves off. So they're all based off 100 people.
Right.
So we have our kind of most exclusive package is the King John package. So that is €11,995. But that, in the way I phrase it, that's everything but the dress.
Mm.
So that's your suits, that's your videographer, that's your band, that's your music,
That's
it's
quite
literally
reasonable.
everything but the wedding
Mm.
dress. And it's a fantastic package because a lot of kind of wedding venues out there and hotels, they just charge you for the food. That
Mm.
means that you have to go out and organize the band, you have to go out and organize the videographer, all these type of things,
Mm.
which on top of everything else can be quite overwhelming.
Mm.
And trying to get it all right
Mm.
is tough. So that's where we come in and we just say, we'll take care of everything, look after your dress.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
it.
I mean, it's again it's a very reasonable price, but also for a lot of people, I mean, um, even for the most easygoing of people, and they're like, I don't really mind. There's a lot in organizing a wedding, and if you can walk into a place and just have that handed to you as like, look, this is just everything, bar the dress.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very appealing and very reasonable as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is this a career for you? Are you going to be doing general management of hotels for a long time, or what's your aspirations? Where do you want to go in the future? You seem to be very happy.
Yeah,
It's
no,
large.
absolutely, yeah. No, I
Um,
suppose, love the industry, love my job. I don't plan on doing anything else. But no, this is me now for the foreseeable.
Yeah,
For my
yeah.
sins.
Good for you to have found something you love and thoroughly enjoy. Obviously, as you mentioned earlier, kind of fell into it a little bit, but that's the best things in life, right? You fall
100%.
into them, and you find your fit.
Yeah.
And yeah, very good. Where if I wanted a book or people at home want a book, what's the best place? Is there better rates if I go direct to your site? Or
Directly through the website, yeah, or pick up the phone. You'll get
Yeah, okay.
you'll definitely get a better rate than the third parties.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Well, Danny, it's been an absolute pleasure. I wasn't messing. I am going to come and see you this weekend.
Do
I want to try one of those cocktails and see what your rooms are like.
perfect.
And thanks very much for coming in today to Business Hour.
Not at all. Thanks for having me.
Right, pleasure.